Okay. Public comments related to, let's see, Board of Trustees goals.
So we're not doing those tonight because you finished them and you're going to be voting on your evaluation and so on later.
Okay.
Now for the
Board of Communications.
reports.
Individual Board of Trustee reports. Sharon, anything? Okay.
Let's see. Last month, I went to Serrano High School. They had a graduation for the kindergartners. There was like over 500 kindergartners that they celebrated. And that is also want to let you know that is Chris Pierce's baby. And it was beautiful. And also I want to thank Mackenzie because she helped get the truck over and Dr. Radcliffe. So it's a moving billboard, but it got a lot of attention. And then the other thing is that we went to the retreat and that was really beautiful. And I wanted to say that one of the presenters, Phil Clegg, said that this is the only college that he's been to that has done something like this with leadership.
And it's years now.
Yeah, exactly. He's never seen anything like this, bringing in leaders from the community, our own leaders from our own college. Been really, really wonderful. So anyways, that's it.
Jennifer?
Oh, well, thank you. I also attended the retreat, had a wonderful time, and I'm not quite recovered yet from it, but I will, don't you worry. And made lots of new best friends and adopted lots of new babies. And just so thrilled to be a part of it. Robert Sewell, you're an amazing person. Tim Isbell, you're an amazing person. Thank you for all that you do for these students. Kevin, thank you so much.
Okay.
Tim and Mr. Sewell, that this is my 12th trip up there. I've always said it's my favorite day as a trustee. We know that graduation comes every year, and we attended. Mr. Lopez, great job. You had a great committee. I think we all appreciate the little personal note that was left. Mr. Tarango, Dr. Tarango. I mean, it was a great group, and it's nice to be able to brag that we've now hit 4 of our highest, and last year was higher. So hopefully we've got something to look forward to. The conference this weekend. I know that Brandon's not here; he's here in thought. We talked a little bit afterwards. In the 12 years that I've gone to this, every ASB has a different tone, has a different tenure, it's a different group. There's camaraderie, there's non-camaraderie. But I've got to say for your group tonight, and as I came down the hill on Saturday afternoon, I pulled over at Mitsubishi and sent Robert a text and said, please encourage all the students over there to be here tonight. Because I want to tell you this. To me, it's so gratifying to take that hour drive by myself up there and to be enriched by what you're trying to do personally and to be able to talk to us openly. And as I've seen every year, it's just gotten better. And this year, I mean, from the young lady, I can't remember what her name was, that was about halfway through that ran up when we were doing the presentation.
Oh, that asked you questions?
Yeah, she had the gray hair. I can't remember what her, she came.
It was Sunny, yeah.
That's, oh, hey, Sonny, you know what? That was the first ever. Don't tell anybody next year to see if they do it. But the thing I really, I walked away from, and I told my wife when I came home, I was talking to some friends, is how close you have bonded as a group. I watched it when you ate. I watched it how you worked with each other, walking through the line. I mean, there's a lot of caring in this group. And that you're our future leaders. So one, I'm glad that I was there. I'm glad that I haven't ever missed a time. And Robert and Tim and to all the staff that was there. You know, there was a time, and I know some of you don't like to hear it, and if you don't, that's just the way it is. There was a time where you could cut the air up there. It was so thick. And there was a time where the president did not have his staff up there. And there was no team building. It was literally, there was more time about team fighting. And so it was great to watch all the people walk out of your room, Dr. Walden, and they're getting along and they're talking to each other and they're encouraging. You know, that sets the tone for this next year. But I want to say one thing, and I'd like everybody to bow their heads for a minute at a time. This is a person whose name is synonymous with education, not in the high desert, but within the San Bernardino area and within California, and a real leader. Last Saturday morning, we lost a very good friend in Rick Piercy. Rick had a dream. He created one of the top charter schools in the entire country. A school that at one time you were on a waiting list for 10 years to get in. We're blessed to have his brother here doing what he does. And as I said the other day, or I think I don't do a lot of Facebook stuff, but when I did post, this area, for whatever reason, we have created a lot of great educational leaders. You know, I'm pleased to sit here with Dr. Walden. We had Dr. Wagner. You know, we've had people in the past that I didn't think were so great, but we've had some people out there in the elementary school district, Dr. Baker. We've had a lot of great leaders. But when you talk about somebody that gave it all the time, it was Rick Piercy and his family and Chris. I think Chris Piercy should have retired 3 times over. But you know what? Every time he gets a new job, he gets a new life. So I would ask you all, President Henderson, I didn't tell you this, if you just bow your heads for a minute and pray to God over Rick and his family, Linda, for what they've done, because you know what? They've made it a better place for all of us. Thanks. Please keep him and his family in your thoughts and prayers. We really lost a big person. Sorry for taking a little bit of extra time.
Okay.
The student.
Student. Why?
You changed the rules.
Yeah.
I get to speak
You
too.
get to speak too.
Cool. Hi, thank you for everyone who came to support me today. I am looking forward, I'll keep this short, to a really hardworking council. This was the most efficient I've seen a council in my 3 years of attending the retreat finish goals. And there's a lot of them. So I just know that through this next year, with the hard work these students have, we're going to get things done and we're going to have a great year. And I just can't wait to look forward to working with the rest of the trustees and the administration here, because it's going to be exciting. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to say I attended 2 graduations and they were both great. And it's one of the best days as being a trustee. You watch these kids go through the line. And we had the high school, was it? Adult ed, yeah, that's it. Adult ed graduation, and then we had our graduation. And there was a lot of people there. Every year it's more and more. And it's really heartwarming to see everybody come through the line and receive their diplomas, degrees. Anyway, it was fun. It was really good. Then I went up to the retreat and I was there for about a day and I didn't get in. I had other things I had to do, but I was there Saturday and it was good. It was really good. You guys pulled together. I met some people that I didn't realize, were here and it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. You guys, looks like you're really pulling it together.
I did notice at graduation, you really enjoyed passing out those
Yeah,
degrees.
I did. I do every year.
Nobody could even get in there.
I know.
Kept going.
You just have to go pull them out.
I keep going and going and going like Energizer Bunny.
So we're in the president's report now. We're going to go out of order of what's in the report. So the first thing we're going to do now is Darn, I forgot which one we're doing first. The Zoom, right? And that is that's the affordable student housing. Are we doing the housing first? Okay, so it's item 7.5.
Oh, thank you so much.
affordable
Yeah, do that
student
first,
housing. The presenters are going to zoom in right now. As soon as they bring them up. 5,
Oh, thank you.
affordable
Yeah, do
student
that first,
housing.
No.
The presenters are going to zoom in right now. As soon as they bring them up. 5,
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Dr. Walden, it's Tom Gutierrez. Are you asking me to present the slides?
Yes, please.
Okay.
can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Can you all see the presentation?
yes.
Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry. Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Gutierrez. I'm a developer with Servitas, who's partnered with Victor Valley College in order to bring student housing on campus. We've had a couple of these updates, but this is the latest one in relation to the SB 169 grant application that that the college has applied for. So the grant has multiple rounds in it, and we recently in January submitted for round 2, and I have an update for that. And then round 3 is I'm asking for the board's approval for our application for round 3. So moving into the things that we have completed so far to bring everybody up to speed, but we have a design concept, which includes all the floor plans and unit plans that we went through in committee. And at the end of the slideshow, we have all of those here. I believe there are some handouts as well at the back of the packet. But as far as due diligence work, we have gone through the land surveys and geotechnical analysis, and our environmental processes have begun, and that includes our CEQA analysis and approval to start that process. So in addition to those site areas, we conducted a market feasibility study that surveyed the students of the college in order to ensure that there was potential demand. And we found that there was a potential demand of over 1,400 beds on campus. So we figured that that's probably enough to validate to build some housing. So we decided to move forward with that, and that's where we got our design concepts and et cetera. So we are not planning to build that many, but right at about 239 beds here coming up in the future. So we've done the concept program as we said, and ran all the financial numbers to see if it was financially feasible, as well as feasible for student support for their actual living situation. And that led us to the need to get some assistance from the state with a housing grant under the SB 169 application. So we submitted during round 2, and that round was submitted and scored, and we have some tentative information that has been awarded. It is not signed into law yet, but in anticipation of that being codified here in the near future, we have went ahead and started the application for round 3 that we are looking for board approval on today, because the round 2, our project was not in the support list. So moving forward here into the highlights, there were 100 points of potential scoring in the application, and Victor Valley earned 45 of them. There was a distribution of on the grading rubric, which is on the next slide, what we can go into, but the college in our plan had about 35 points in areas that we actually controlled, and we earned 33 of them from the committee that scored us. So Couple of extra metrics here. 72 was the total points for the highest graded project that went through round 2. And 7 projects are tentatively funded by the state right now as part of round 2. Those are listed here and their various asks of the grant application. A couple of things of note. You can see here some of these first 3 say with a UC school, those are considered to be intersegmental, and they got some priority because of that intersegmental project nature, and that came with extra points. So they were ahead of the rest of the pack, as well as the 6 of these 7 were deemed ineligible during the round 1 application for one reason or another. And that also gave them some extra points that placed them ahead of Victor Valley. So overall, I think we did pretty well given some of the bonus points available to other projects. But moving forward here into round 3, our strategy to go through is to maximize our score. Like I said, it's on the next slide, not this one. So that we get that those extra 2 points on that particular line. The next few items here, the telling the story is also is not new. It was the same story that was in round 2 and is still compelling. The DSA compliant units, Servitas is knowledgeable on how to do housing that is DSA compliant. We have two buildings that have gone through and gotten approved from DSA for other colleges in California. So we know that this is a big hurdle that is part of the struggle in getting affordable housing here across for the community colleges. So we spent a lot of time on getting our estimating correct, and we hired an estimating professional with about 30 years of experience that also estimated the job for one of our projects there in Southern California. So we feel that the costs that we have put into the application are very accurate. So based on conversations with the committee, we are still planning a standalone facility. This is in order to make sure it has the least impact financially to the college long term. It is built to mimic a standalone residential apartment building off campus with some additional double occupancy for students in order to enhance the affordability of the rents. So our architect here is HPI Architecture, and they've worked with us on both of our projects that are in construction or built already here in California for community college housing. So last item here is to get approval if you deem that to be appropriate here tonight. So this is the scoring metric as published as part of SB 169. I'm not going to read this to you, but if you have any questions, we can go over that. But you'll probably notice that I have lined out metric number 5 that was only applicable to rounds 1 and 2, or in this particular case, just round 2. So those 5 points no longer apply, and they are allocated to item number 6, which gets a few extra points and is based on the for demand. So moving forward, the grant application, the package itself is pretty robust with various different forms and estimates and etc. Here is the list of everything that we have collected and created, and obviously we still need your approval here on the front of the page. Here, this time for round 3, the state has asked us to submit the project using the Fusion system. It was not used during round 2 because it needed to get an update to for a few different reasons to allow housing to be better accepted by the system itself. And I wanted to add this here to show that as per the Fusion guidance here, we are maxing out all of the potential points that we can get for our application right now. So that goal I discussed a little while ago. We have achieved that as per the Fusion submission site. So as far as what I'm asking the board to consider at this moment, this grant would obligate the college to put a rent restriction for the life of the facility for 179 beds. This is a difference from the round 2 application. It went down a little bit because of we wanted to maintain a different ratio in order to maximize our points, but round 2 application had 190 beds, and we're asking for 179 beds to be restricted at this moment for this round. Proposed monthly rent rate in this application is actually the same as it was in round 2, because when we put together all the documentation in the forms, the 2023 AMIs had not been officially published yet. The federal government had published them, but the state of California had not. So our application is still using the 2022 rent restriction rent caps, but they are labeled as the 2022 versions, and as part of the rest of the development and construction and marketing process, they will be adjusted to be current as of our opening date in the future. And there is the ability within the grant to adjust them as the markets require in the future. So the development budget and grant funding both increased from the round 2 amounts here. The amounts included of 61 million and 46 million are what are in the round 3 application. They increased only due to the inflation of construction pricing at this time. So like I said before, the 179 beds are affordable and 58 beds are currently contemplated to be market rate. And this is a 75 to 25 ratio to affordable to market. In the round 2, this was an 80-20 split because our calculations for the financial pro forma didn't really allow us to go above that. So in this case, we are lowering the percentage request of the state to support this project because we had some benefits from the financial markets for this particular round. But that is the current ask. For edification here, highlighted in, in the boldface text is the beds that are in the currently contemplated and conceptual plans that would be the rent restricted affordable. And that is mostly focused on the double occupancy, as well as some single occupancy in the 4-2 apartment configuration. But this represents all the unit types that would exist in the project. And of note, they are all full apartments, and that would include a kitchen and a living room space for each unit. To bring everybody, to orient you to the project site here, it is located on an undeveloped portion of campus, but there is not a lot of major site work that would be necessary in order to enable this to be a housing project. So this is the general layout of how the student housing building would be here. Main entry would be at the central core of the facility. Let me move forward here a little bit. Hold on. And there on the back side, we have put in some some outdoor activity space area in order to allow for folks to experience and enjoy the outdoors here in the high desert. So moving forward into the unit types, like we were talking about, we have 2-bedroom, 1-bath configuration. This is a double occupancy for 1 bedroom and a single occupancy for another due to space concerns. And then the 2-bedroom, 1-bath single occupancy is actually contemplated as a potential staff apartment rather than a student unit for the professional staff member to be present on site for residence life services and others. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, single occupancy for the entire unit type across the facility. It's a unit that we've used successfully across the United States. So the students really like that one. Studio apartment is generally contemplated to be one of the student staff members, but can be used for others as well, just depending on how operations goes. And this is the 2-bedroom, 2-bath double occupancy. And I think most of the affordable beds will be in this type of configuration with the shared living space. But like I said, every unit still has a living and a kitchen area. So breaking out the building a little bit here, the colors do coordinate with the unit types as we showed a little while ago. But you can see that there's a distribution of unit types across, except for the studio and the 2-bedroom. And that is on one particular side of the building. So, but in the central core, we have more lobby space and activity space for the students. So as we move forward here onto the 2nd floor, we have student study space and social lounges here in the brown, in the core and the knuckle of the building as it makes that turn. So that's where we think that most folks will congregate. In addition, we have in this area the building laundry facilities that will be shared across for all units. And then here, especially on the 3rd floor, we think that it could be very beneficial to have a balcony for folks to once again enjoy the high desert. So a couple of visuals for you. This is contemplated to be looking as you walk up from Jacaranda or as you drive up, depending on. But this is the main entry in the knuckle of the building. And right there in front of you would be some study lounges and I think the laundry facility. But we could move those things around as necessary as the plans move forward. And this is looking at the same knuckle of the building from the other side. And you can see that balcony there on the 3rd floor as I mentioned before. Okay, just another perspective here on that outdoor balcony and the rest of that courtyard space. One more time. And looking down on the entire project area. And from the other side. Any questions?
So later in the agenda is an action item to request the board to approve our application. Interestingly enough, this SB 169 had statutory deadlines for this actual deadline was the 3rd of July. But this project funding group is for the 24-25 fiscal year. So it's a full year before the funding would be approved by the legislature and the governor if we were chosen. So they've got plenty of time to score everybody. And, you know, I didn't, Tom or Angel, have you heard when we might know if we are successful or not?
Expectation is late spring of next year.
Okay, so it'll be a long waiting time.
So I have some questions regarding our geographic areas. One of the, like, did they give us a matrix for how they're gonna score this? Like, if you're in an urban area with a high homeless population, are you scoring higher on those areas, or are we too rural to even compete? What's the grid there, the guideline?
So it is broken out by various regions, and Inland Empire is one of those regions, but they do have you are judged in the rubric within that area first. So each area has a separate
Yeah, I think they kind of, don't they lay out the actual grants in each area and try to spread it around the
Right, but
state?
did they give us like a formula where if
They
you're
don't.
high densely populated with a high homeless population, that's you're gonna score a
They
10
use that data, but the decision is on their side. We don't, it's not within the application.
It's just willy-nilly.
Well,
Well-
trustee, if you take a look at the 7, 6 of them are urbanized schools.
Right, that's what I
Really dense.
noticed.
So homelessness within an urban area, unless it's on a campus, I don't think it has anything to do with it. But the College of the Redwoods but the College of the Redwoods would be more of a consider rural area. I mean, it's
Yes,
not,
definitely.
so only 1 out of 7
Mhm,
would be like us. So
mhm.
my question on this rating thing, I think this is really more for Tom. Tom, can you go to page 5?
yes.
That's where my notes are too, sir.
Should I share the screen again?
I graduated from college and my math and yours are, I think. Can you go down the points column? And tell me, I come up with, when I get to 65, it's actually 70. I went to get 35, it's 35, so it should be 105 points. Because you have 15 marked out to 20. So did I add that up wrong?
I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Not at all.
No, you're not sharing the screen right now.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry.
I'll ask trustee Tarpley, go to page 5.
On
the
page
one item doesn't apply, so it subtracts 5 from that
cross out.
item
Takes,
and moves it down to the next one.
So
okay.
you delete that 5.
All right.
That makes sense.
So when you-
I have more questions, though. I wasn't.
So
Yeah,
just
yeah.
real quickly though, when you go through this, some of these things, I think we have a good chance. For example, number 1, the low income students. Number 2, I think is a good area that we would be good in, the low income students that with the rental computation provided. You saw that already in the presentation. Prepared to begin the project. We're going at the earliest possible date. We are not DSA or shovel ready,
Right.
as they say.
Right.
So if somebody was shovel ready, they'd get ahead of us on that. Geographical location. I think what we're presenting to them is that we have a high need here in this area. So maybe we will score well, maybe we don't, we may not. The next one about unmet demand for housing. If I remember right, we're somewhere between a 1-2% occupancy, vacancy rate here in the area. So there's a strong need for this. So we might score high on that. We would probably not score anything with the one that is, you see how there's a second set of numbers and there's
Mhm.
one has indicated the project will be implemented in partnership with another CSU, like a CSU or UC, we don't have that ability. Local contribution to construction. Perhaps we could, I'm assuming that what that means is we got
25% of what we're paying.
Yes, we are maxing that one.
and then student services and auxiliary services included with the affordable housing project, which they are.
Yes,
Region
we're
of high need, we think we are, and cost of living, we think we would score high there. So this this rubric is different than round two. And I think we have a lot better chance to get a higher score on that. So just
Well,
to kind of go through that with you.
I see in your slideshow that it says proposed points. But what is it out of? Like I see it's possible composite score of 100, but we're only scoring 35. Where are the rest of the points?
Those are the ones that we can control.
And the
The
rest
committee
is-
that's going to score gives the points for those other criteria. So it's not beyond, there's nothing we can do on that side of the equation. That's left to the people in the chancellor's office that will score the application.
That's based on emotion.
So if we don't have that connection with the Cal State
Right.
system on those two,
Yeah.
we don't get any points.
Right,
Exactly.
so I get that. So, I saw also on one of the pages, I don't know, one of the pages, it had the rent cap. Can you go to that page? So you had the rent cap, on 179 beds of 765, right? Is that correct?
So the statutory max, yes, is 765, but we are proposing the 10% discount of 688.50.
For
And that
what?
gets next
79
point.
beds? And then what do we charge for the other 58 beds?
It's a
So
market dictated, yep.
open
Basically what
market?
the state,
Local.
the state's basically saying, if we pay for 75% of the facilities through the grant, you're gonna cap the bed rent for those 75, that 75% of the facility is ours, the state's saying. You're gonna cap the rent for the entire life of the building.
Mhm.
And then we get the flexibility on this district funded portion in case our costs escalate to operate the facility. We
Mhm.
might have to increase the rents a little higher to recapture the cost for
So the
utilities and other costs
The
associated.
4-bedroom, 2-bath, my favorite layout with the person on the end walking through the other person's bedroom to go to the restroom. That one, we're gonna charge them market on a 2-bedroom apartment or market on renting a room in a home. Because
You're
I would
looking at that one
pay
right there.
$1,200 to walk through somebody's, nope, the
That's
other one where you have to walk through, it's just a partition wall, it's not doored. That'd be the one. So you have to, the guy on the front that might have the window view has to walk through the other person's bedroom to go to the bathroom. We talked about this last round, because I hate that layout. I think it's atrocious, but what are you charging those people?
That's the ones that would be the cheapest.
This is one that has the rent
Good
restriction.
answer. Good
That's the
answer.
one that's capped.
Good answer.
All of the folks in this unit type would be under the affordable restriction.
So only the ones with doors, we charge more for doors. Yeah,
I
Well,
guess so.
to be honest, a
So-
lot of our competitors that are putting grants in,
yeah.
they're dormitory style. They're walking through everybody's rooms in one main bathroom for 20 rooms.
Okay,
And we stuck with
a little bit.
the
more
apartment
privacy.
style,
Yeah.
adult living,
Okay,
not the old. But we're competing against schools that are having huge dormitories
Yeah.
with almost no private facilities
but
for
those are
people.
getting funded. Are we?
Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
No.
What about? I'm just gonna throw a little curveball and you guys can be mad at me and I'm very sorry for it in advance, but like, how do we feel about just going low income for the whole thing? Is it even feasible?
It's not financially feasible.
It's not financially.
No,
feasible?
because if our costs for staff to operate, security and our utilities are going up
So
like
that's
this,
who those
you've
people.
gotta- you've gotta have enough-
$1,200 a month is paying for that.
that's where we were at when we first
Fair enough.
talked about the $500,000 when we
Yeah.
were gonna do our own.
Yeah,
And the board said, no, we're not really attracted to being on the hook for operations.
Yeah,
out
we
of
did.
General fund.
Mhm.
And
Okay,
this
fair enough.
Pretty much is state funded, but the states, the number one state mandate is if you say you're gonna build 179 beds for the state, you will build 179, no matter how much cost escalation is gonna happen between now and when they fund us. We've got to build their beds. And there's some of the people that have got the grants right now are standing there going, well, costs are escalating. We don't know if we can afford to
do
build the
this.
project.
Yeah,
Well, the state's saying,
too
So
bad.
what
you
you're
knew when, you
saying.
knew when you applied that we're getting our bed.
Right,
And so now some of the schools are scrambling to redesign.
to even figure it out. Okay, but does it have to go with the design that you set forth in your?
Well, I don't think that's their focus is the number of beds. So I don't know what they're doing. I mean, I haven't been that close
As
to,
it is, okay,
but it's a
The-
kind of one-way street from the state.
yeah, I mean,
Can I have something confirmed? So what you're saying is the max rental rate you put on here could increase by the time we start building this?
The max rental rate will increase with CPI, okay,
Yes.
no matter what. But right now, we can discount it, we think, for
To
this
that rate.
project at this time, but if things escalate, we might have to raise the rent to that maximum amount.
you're. covered.
That's the max you can raise them every year is whatever the state
The state
index,
sets that rate,
the
we
state index tells you how much you can charge.
So that part is
Maximum.
out of our control.
I think to answer our student trustees question. As much as we know the sun will set tonight and the sun will go up, that rent's not gonna be the rent. Okay, unfortunately. Hey, Tom,
Yep.
so we got this nice little scoring rubric. How did, and when we scored 45 out of 100, where do we score on this rubric? And why don't we show how we scored on this rubric compared to where we're trying to get this next time? Because I think trustee Tarpley's questions are well taken. Where did those numbers come?
Well, if you go to the fusion page, he shows you that the rubric scores that we got in those yellow numbers there.
Oh, I can't read
We
that.
got the
Zoom in.
maximum amount available that we could control.
Is that in
The
here?
rest is up to the state and
I just think for purposes of putting this Rubik cube here, this is great, but to show how we actually did versus.
well, we're just showing you how we're gonna be scored in round 3.
So this is a
That's
different,
not round 2,
this
No,
is
but is round two this
different
way? or-
questions. No,
Okay.
different matrix.
yeah, different metrics.
So
Do we know what
That's the
the,
reason why we think we have a better chance in round 3, because the metrics are different and that's why I walked you through the metrics, basically showing you that subjectively thinking, we have a much better chance this time around than we had in round 2 because of the way the questions were worded and the rubric was scored. So how it will actually be scored, we don't know.
so I
Chancellor's office.
so this is not gonna be the same in the next round? The yellow.
Well,
this
there might
tiny,
not-
Teeny tiny yellow.
this
There
is-
might not be another round. This is the final round. That's on the books right now.
So the question is, I guess Tom and John and Dr. Walden. What do we need to do?
To win,
What do we need to do to win? Two,
right?
I want everybody in here to know that I totally support housing. I'm in the business. How much have we spent of VVC's dollars to date to where we are?
Well, none yet,
Right.
Okay,
but.
Well,
we
we've
are-
committed to the developer for the costs of a lot of the,
well, no, but when
but
Tom
we are on
said,
the hook for
we've
some
done,
money.
yeah.
Tom said we've done the topo map. Okay, that's $7,000.
No, we're at, Tom, what are we at? Total expense of 400,000 so far? Give or take.
That's off the top of my head, I didn't look that up for this conversation. That off the top of my head is the limit of the highest possible. We're not there yet.
You said, Tom, we've only done a site plan, concept site plan, so we're not, obviously, we're not doing mechanical, electrical.
No, we
all that
had
stuff.
for this
Yeah.
fusion project, the architects, we had to hire
Yeah.
estimators, the architects. It takes a lot of work to go through this state fusion
Last-
system.
The last meeting that we had that I was in, I was told we were on the hook at that point, somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000. But as he just said, 400 is the max, because if you remember when they presented this and we decided to go forward in the first,
Yeah.
there was the potential to be out 3 to 4 million.
And we,
But I stopped
Yeah.
that part of the process a year ago so that we would not be out more than this maximum of 400,000 if we don't get the grant. If we end up getting the grant, we're out nothing.
Right.
Not-
But I
so
think
it's-
my
If he gets a grant, the developer's not out anything, he gets his money and we're the ones that lose. And I think.
No, they're out, their staff costs and everything. We're not paying them. It's his cost for the architect and all the consultants under him.
That was, you know, kind
That's
of
what
my-
we agreed to pay for.
that was my issue last.
He's out. These guys have been working for 3 years now.
Okay.
And we haven't paid him anything.
but I think my question is, did they give us a rubric or a matrix that says this is how many potential points you can get?
That's
for
what
each-
you're looking at.
That's this yellow or the
That
other
is
red?
the state's document
The
that they
yellow
gave
or the
us.
red?
This is the scoring,
The
the
yellow or
rubric.
the red one. Yours is black and white, mine's red.
Yeah.
The red one now.
This
So
one.
there's 10 points we're not going to get because of the UC deal. So
Yeah.
we'll lose those. But I think getting back to the question for you and Tom. How do we not win this next round?
This has been the most
So-
political funding cycle that I've
Is
seen
there
in my
any-
career.
Is there anything that Senator Scott Will can do that Senator Juan Carrillo can do for us? That Assemblyman Juan Carrillo and Assemblyman Tom Lackey can do? I know that Dr. Walden has met with all three of them. They're real supportive, but is there any other way that?
Well, the process is that the chancellor's office staff and their group will score everyone. They'll submit it probably to finance, and then it gets discussed at the budget level at committee. So our representatives could be active at that point, advocating for our project to be funded in the next state budget.
Remember, we scored 45 points, but the highest anyone scored,
Was
if I understood you
72,
right, was 70.
72. Right.
So nobody got 100.
So we didn't go in round one, we applied in round two, correct? But does round three require anything? Like, is there a prerequisite of round two, or anybody can apply? Now, if they learn.
I think we actually get some points for having made
A
the.
second try?
I think we get some points for being in the next four. Like these people that won the 7, they got points for having not won in round 1. Is that correct?
Something like
That was correct for round 2. But those points don't apply for round 3.
Oh, they don't.
They took them out.
So
No, they
it's
took those out.
like
And
favorite-
they added those points to another.
Yeah.
Excuse me, let me help answer the key question of what could your legislators do for you or do for the college here? And the answer is, there was a lot of horse trading when it came time to award round 2 in Sacramento, and they moved things around. The line that says unmet demand county rental, that category used to be 15 points in round 2. It
Right
will
now.
now be 20 points in round 3. That category hurt Victor Valley College the most the last time around, because the statistic, the metric used to measure occupancy was countywide, not local. So while Victorville had an extremely high occupancy rate, very, very few vacant apartments, the Inland Empire, the whole county, had plenty of vacant units. So Victor Valley College ranked not last, but close to last in that category. We don't control that. It is a metric they chose. Now we have brought this up to the state and say, hey, that's a very unfair metric at Victor Valley College. It might be fair at Los Angeles Community College District, but it's not very fair to compare Victorville to the whole Inland Empire because it's such a massive landmass. And they were receptive, but they
Distance
haven't.
away from the actual Inland Empire.
I mean, to compare Temecula, California to Adelanto or Barstow, I mean, you just can't do it. So I guess, Tom, where do you guys come into this whole thing?
We're talking with all the various administrators to try and negotiate that political market a little bit as far as putting together the project program here in order to maximize the points that we do control. That was our main focus here. And then there's a political conversation after we submit.
Okay, so let me say this and I'll make it short. The high desert is going to explode in probably the next 6 months with a housing problem because Brightline will hopefully get their funding by the end of October. That creates 10 to 30,000 jobs between Ranch Cucamonga and Vegas. BNSF is going to have their approval next year for 22,000 jobs, 8,000 directly in Barstow. And you've got the Silverwood project down here. And we actually right now have a housing crisis. There are no Class A apartment complexes in the high desert. There's a little bit over 1,000 units in the city of Victorville right now that have been approved. None of the builders can build them because they can't get a loan, because they can't afford the interest rates, and they can't get the rents. What's rather shocking, and I'll share this, John, with you and our fellow trustees. We had a meeting with the city of Victorville about 6 months ago. A developer came in from Las Vegas and had run some pretty high numbers. And on the west side of Victorville, it was hard to believe that in what we would call a B-type apartment complex, something that was 10 to 15 years old, that 1,000 square foot apartment was commanding $2,000 a month.
Exactly.
Absolutely shocking. Okay, so we look at everything by price per foot, whether it's an industrial building, a retail building, a housing. So you imagine you're paying $2,000 a foot. And so they said, well, we think we can get $250. And the problem is, I think our students are the ones that are going to get squashed.
Right.
And I hate to use that word squashed because you have all these contractors that are going to come in here for 3 or 4 years and build these projects that make a lot of money. And they're going to price a lot of people out of the market, and many of you in here that make good money. So if you don't own, I'm not here to pitch you to go buy a house, but I'm going to tell you, you better get your housing affairs in order the next couple of months because the landlords are going to have a heyday out here.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, and they're not going to care about our students. They're not going to care about anybody. They're going to finally make up for all these.
Well, that's why we're gonna care about our students and we
Yeah.
need to that's why I'm asking, what's the rubric? What's the rubric? How do we improve our score? How do we make sure that we can at least house 179 of our students, or 100 and whatever the number was.
You know, the last time the market collapsed in 2008 to 2010, 26,000 homes got foreclosed. 75,000 people were out on the street and they had to move. So we see the Brightline thing is a great deal coming in. We see BNSF, but we can't build these units quick enough. And candidly, Trustee Tarpley, I'd be a gambler enough to double this if we could. We can't, although our parcel does, but we're behind in getting the drawings done.
Bunk beds it is.
Huh?
Bunk beds it is.
Well, we can put tents out there.
Just kidding. It's a joke.
No, it's a serious problem.
Anyway, I think I was just trying to make sure you knew it's a different rubric than last.
But what's?
Yeah, all 3 rounds have been,
It's this one.
I
all
hate
3
it.
rounds have been different.
None of it is, it's all.
It's like government. They change the
Whatever
rules
they
all the
think.
time.
Yeah,
It is round 1, it was like a 3-page
San Bernardino.
letter.
Our students can't live in
just-
San Bernardino and commute here. That's the problem.
There's 2 different markets.
It's 2 different geographic areas. There's a mountain between us.
Have you
Like, I
seen that
don't
big-
understand why they're putting us in that
Have you
group.
seen the big 1,000-unit apartment complex that Palmer just built in Ontario at Vineyard?
I don't know.
It's getting $3.25 a square foot. Do the math. That's crazy.
So later in the agenda, we'll be requesting the board to approve our application. So Tom and Hal, thank you. I hope it's
Thank you,
nice and
guys.
cool in Texas, which I'm sure it's not. I was
It's not.
It's
Good
not.
job.
It's
Summer.
not.
Thank you for your attention, everyone. I'm John. I'm available if more questions come up. You can just give me a call.
Okay, sounds good.
Have a wonderful evening.
Good
everyone.
night.
Thank you. All right, the next item is a presentation on the bond tax.
Ivory Lee from Sandler, Piper Sandler. She's been involved in all of our issuances.
Yeah. I have had the privilege. Good evening.
Thank you, babe.
right, let's see.
We won't ask you as many questions.
Oh,
Maybe.
please go ahead. I actually
lot-
enjoyed you sharing the knowledge, Trustee Brady, about the local housing market and all that. Because it has something to do with the bonds.
You got a copy of her PowerPoint, so Tim's putting it on for the.
Well, good evening, President Henderson, members of the board, Dr. Walden, district staff and guests. Again, I'm Ivy Lee from Piper Sandler. Thank you for letting me be here to provide a brief update on your Measure JJ bond program. Do I control the slide?
No, you just
Oh,
asked him to.
okay, great. So starting with a brief recap, whenever the page comes up.
Sorry.
Oh,
No,
No, it's
Oh,
not.
the sauna, I said in the morning, right?
I think you're having hot flashes because it's freezing.
Go ahead.
It hasn't caught up yet.
okay, well, you have the handout. So going
I'll
going
trade
to
you.
the next page, the brief recap of Measure JJ, as you may recall. It was approved by the district's voters in 2008. Total bond program size was 297.5 million. The district has done 4 issuance so far and has about 130 million remaining authorization. In 2016, the district's board and administration took advantage of the lower interest rates back then, refinanced a portion of the outstanding Measure JJ bonds and deliver a total of 15.8 million of savings to your local taxpayers. As you also may recall, so these bonds are supported by an annual tax assessment on all the taxable properties within the district's boundary. The legal limit is $25 per 100,000, and that's really determines how the district can access your future bond authorization. So the good news is, since our last issuance in 2020, going to the next page, please. We have had great growth in this area in your tax base. The total assessed valuation has grown 5.2 billion. You can see the 3 lines in 21, 5.9%, 5.3% in 22, and in the most recent year, 9%. In a few days, we can actually get a fresh data point from the County of San Bernardino to show us the preliminary value for the incoming 23-24 year. Hopefully, we can see the healthy trend of growth continue. So that's great news in terms of accessing your future bond. So the other variable, obviously, when it comes to debt issuance is the borrowing cost. So unfortunately, as you have heard, interest rates have risen quite significantly since 2020. Going to the next page. But I would like to point out, though, that the timing of your last 2 issuances, Series D, which was issued in June of 2020, it was at the 50-year low, historically speaking. So that timing was terrific. And then going back to 2016, when you did the bond refinancing, that was another valley low point. So somehow you have timed the market terrifically on the last 2 issuances, and hopefully the next one will be great as well. So this chart shows the 30-year historical average for bond interest rates. So as you can see, so from a historical perspective, the current rate is still below the 30-year average. And then lastly, in terms of how much additional dollar can you access in Measure JJ, just based on the current information, going to the next slide, please. We estimate somewhere between 13 to 14 million. If you look at the debt service chart at the bottom, you can see that most of your tax revenue really has been taken by the outstanding bonds. So we can put another 13, 14, 15 million, depending on the market interest rates, right? Depending on how much your tax base has grown in the most recent year or for the future year. And we might be accessed a little bit more. So this brings us to the action item for you tonight, 13.3, the tax levy resolution. Just to clarify, it's not a resolution to approve a bond financing, but rather is to anticipate it if you were to sell additional bonds in 23, 24, because of the timing, the county, San Bernardino County, and believe it or not, Los Angeles County too, because you have 0.2% of your tax base in LA County. So they need directions from you to levy a tax, not only on the outstanding Measure JJ bond, but a new issuance or potential new issuance in 23, 24. If you don't issuing anything, that money, the additional tax collected for Series E will just be stay in the debt service fund and be used to reduce the tax rate for the following year. And the reason for that really is we can capture roughly $1 million of tax revenues in 23-24 for this new potential issuance to help maximize your bond proceeds. And that's really my presentation. That's it. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
So you might say, well, why would we want to do this? Well, first of all, because we can. Secondly, the college is looking to liquidate the property at Main and Highway 395. From the sale of that, if that was to materialize, we would hope to acquire more property in Hesperia, another more suitable location, and perhaps even also another location somewhere near the airport. What's happening at the airport, and both for future sites of satellite work for the college, so, or perhaps even centers. At the airport, we have our aviation program. The last time the city worked with us, we got kicked out of one of the buildings. The other building, they only offered us a 2-year lease on. We asked for 5 and they only gave us 3, which tells us that they want to be able to take it whenever they need it and they don't want a long-term commitment. The High Desert Training Center, we signed that lease in January of 2019. So we're halfway through that lease this next coming at the end of this calendar year, which leaves us 5 years left there. It's owned now by Squadron, who may have every intent to have a long-term relationship with the college, but they're a rocket business and they're going to do what they need to do for their business. So we really, in 5 years, could potentially be out in the cold. Our aviation program produces 120 students a year that get jobs out there. And so this is a very important program. Our mechatronics program at the High Desert Training, a lot of our contract ed, our forklift program, and on and on and on. That's just been a great site out there for us. And so I think long range, the college needs to think about having our own place and not having to depend upon whatever the politics of the area are. So my hope would be that with the sale of the property, we could secure land in both locations. And I think the more priority for the college should be getting a facility out at the airport. And so that's what we would potentially use this bond money for. And that's just my thoughts on that at this point. But there's a lot of projects we could do, right, John?
There is.
I mean, even right here
I
at
think
this
if we
campus.
continue to grow, we're gonna run into some facility issues, not enough facilities, and we would advise that we get out ahead of that. It's a pretty big headache to try to chase down facilities at the last minute.
I totally support what Dr. Walden and John, you have talked about. When I say the valley's gonna grow, it's gonna double in size in 20 years. It's a real short period of time. There's nowhere else to go in Southern California. Here, the Antelope Valley, Coachella Valley, that's all you can get. You got a lot of companies, you got a lot of new money moving in here. So what we've seen in the back, in the rearview mirror is not what we're gonna see in the out of the front. So I think it's a prudent move, and I do agree.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you.
All right, so now we'll go back and start doing our agenda in order. So ASB Gold.
Perfect. So today we adopted the 2023 through 2024 goals for ASB. I'll go ahead and just read them out for the public to hear. Number 1, ASB will promote the distribution and use of VVC mobile and text messaging app to improve communication, more deeply engage the college community, and promote student engagement. That one. Number 2, in response to increased student demand, the council respectfully requests that the Academic Senate prioritize full-time hires in physics and American Sign Language. Number 3, recognizing that health is essential to student success, the ASB Council will seek the approval of the student body to propose to the superintendent and president and the Board of Trustees that a student health center be established on campus. Number 4, ASB will acknowledge and highlight inspiring faculty, staff, and students to increase campus camaraderie, morale, and academic success. Number 5, the VVC Associated Student Body aims to secure funding and approval from the administration for an on-campus coffee shop. Number 6, recognizing our community's need for basic life skills, the Associated Student Body will work with the Director of Non-Credit to offer classes on topics such as day-to-day financial management. Number 7, the council will partner with the Deputy Superintendent Executive Vice President of Administration Services to assess and evaluate the planetarium equipment and facility to revitalize the astronomy program and strengthen ties to our community. Number 8, the ASB Council will partner with administration to implement preferred name, gender identity, and pronouns in admissions and records. Number 9, to help students graduate on time, ASB will collaborate with instruction and admissions and records to create a more student-oriented schedule and registration process. Number 10, ASB will participate with instruction and student services to enhance students' multicultural experience by reinstating and funding student abroad and international study programs. Number 11, the college has built a basic needs center to help in-need students. The council will publicize the center and promote students using its services. And finally, number 12, the ASB Council supports the creation of new clubs such as VVC Mock Trial to expand extracurricular opportunities for students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
I mean, we have more. They just didn't make it to the public.
There were like
side version.
500 more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facilities update?
All right, John, we're ready for you.
Yeah, we haven't seen you enough.
It's been a couple months since I've updated on what's going on. Haven't been around campus, got a bunch of things to show. So we're looking for more work to do. I think one of the first pictures, the back late last fall, we had a flood in the gymnasium during the flood. So on Monday of this week, yesterday, facilities people released the facility back to the athletic department. 9 o'clock yesterday morning, I went in there, there was a basketball taking practice.
Good.
No?
So there's the new logo.
Pretty.
The center court. Next slide, please. How much is the new gym floor?
Nice.
Gym floor was about 350,000. And we did we had some other issues that we dealt with. This shot, you can see, since the floor was destroyed and it was gone, it was a great time for us to use some state scheduled maintenance money, and we've put in LED lighting. So we put all new lighting over the gym and also over the mezzanine area. So as you can see how bright that is, and it really turned out very well.
Really nice.
Next slide, please. There's just another angle and you can see the lighting. It's top-notch facility. I think I met with Artie and Art yesterday and they're very happy with it. Dr. Walden, I think, seen it this morning. So I'd encourage people to go and take a look at it. It's a new showpiece for the campus. Next slide, please. So here's an update on the event center. This is basically the west elevation. That's the kitchen area where you see that structural steel going in. on the west side of the building. Next slide. You can see they're dropping the steel in. Next. So the iron workers are busy at work. Next one, please. This is the northeast elevation, and that little building on the left, the block building on the left, that's the ticket booth. So it's separate from the main building. So when we use the stadium facility, we don't have to enter into that other facility. It's a ticket booth. Next slide, please. This is the interior of kind of the entrance area. Those wood pieces in the middle there, those are where the doors are going to go enter into that first room. They're going to be the fancy pivoting doors. And this will be kind of the foyer going into the building. This is home bleacher side. They've poured the last 4 segments of concrete this morning, and the erection team for the bleachers was on site right behind them. Next slide. You can see they're putting up the superstructure of the actual bleachers. Next slide. There's another angle from far back. As you can see, the light poles have been installed. Next slide. We got a big project going in 21. This is the engagement center that we're creating for the Pathways project. Next slide. All new carpet, paint. So most of the building is getting refreshed, but there are some spaces that are not included in this project, but we intend to go back and maybe this next winter break and clean those facilities up. But you can see this all new carpet, new paint. We went all the way to the ceiling with the paint.
Oh, that's good.
This is the hallway to the mass center moved. So we're cleaning up that area. Next slide. There's the entrance on that west side. This is another one of the engagement centers or one of the math center classrooms. I don't recognize it, so don't hold me to it. It's in the same area. So as you know, we've done a couple of landscaping projects. So this is building 31 on that would be the south side of 31. These are a few before pictures. So you can see that it was a little bit out of control and cluttered.
Just a little.
There's parts of the building that we hadn't seen in many years. But we have come up with a kind of a different style. We went through our facilities committee to make sure everybody was receptive to doing something different. So isn't that beautiful? So here's what it turned into. So you can scroll through those. We went to we were using kind of the water conservation, less brush, less shrubs. We went to the palms with rock. And you'll see us as we go around campus. Our next project will be around 50. On the backside of 50, 52, that area. We've already took out most of the existing out of control landscape. So we'll be migrating across campus. Once we determine how much of the state money is gone, which is $5 million, we had about 9. We've got some flexibility in next year's budget, so I'll be fighting with the instructional folks to use it for maintenance. And so there'll be some taffy pulling going on in cabinet. But this is kind of where we're headed. We've changed our landscaping design for the stadium project. It's going to have this kind of look rather than the tree look that's high maintenance. The shrubs are high maintenance. We're trying to save some maintenance, labor and water. So
Can you maintain these trees with our staff?
yes.
Okay. So we don't have to go out.
Yeah, we're hoping. We obviously we couldn't maintain what we had with our staff. So we're hoping we won't have any real staff needs, but
The ferns and palms look really good if they're maintained.
yeah, oh yeah, no. Yeah, I agree. So I don't know, the next slide, please.
I think that was it.
That was it. Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
Kristen, are you doing the foundation?
Foundation.
Still in my report.
Okay.
I'll give it back to you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Tim, are you able to pull up the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I'll be done after this.
Okay. So our updates for the foundation are, I wanted to share our time that we had with the graduation party, the alumni pre-party. I really want to thank the committee, Art. This is the second year we have been asked to participate, and I really appreciate the partnership. And we've made it better and better, and I look forward to continuing to really make it a great experience for our students. So thank you for that. So next slide, please. Some of our shenanigans backstage. I think you were back there, Jennifer. There we go. There we go. So, you know, when we're in the back, we encourage them, we have them fill out their paperwork. We had a fit check for them so they could make sure everything was on right, get their medallions, and just kind of keep the energy up back there. Snacks, waters. Chris was doing, I'm sure, line dancing, all kinds of things back there. Next slide, please. Just really getting them, you know, pumped up there. And then next slide, please. Just save the date. HDES will be October 20th here on campus. Last year, I promised you that we would do a state of the college every year incorporated into this event. So we will be doing that again. And we are working on the details of an economic speaker, some panels, still working on that, dialing that in, but please do save the date. It'll be right here on campus, 7:30 to noonish, with a breakfast with restaurant management again, which is fabulous. So I hope you all can attend that. And then the next slide, please. So our Hall of Fame, I've been working with Dr. Walden. We'd like to really showcase the event center, and in conjunction with the grand opening of the event center, we're pushing back Hall of Fame to April. It's typically in February. So he and I have been working together on this date. Really excited to possibly be the first event there. I mean, I think everyone will want to come and see it. It's a great attraction. So we have a really good selling tool there. So if you could save the date, we're looking at April 27th. It's a Saturday. Currently, I do have the Hilton still on standby just in case. You know, I know how construction can go, but this is really where we'd like to have it. So.
It's all up to John.
No pressure, John.
At this point,
We'll have it done by December.
we are expecting to be able to take this over by March 1st. The track may not be done then, but that won't affect the game.
Yeah, no, and I think the pictures of the foyer that you showed are really beautiful and large. So San Manuel Band of Mission Indians does a fantastic job of their annual awards, and to be able to take the foyer and really turn that into a first-class experience, that's sort of what we're really looking forward to. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mr. President.
Academic Senate,
I
see here,
think they're here.
not here.
No.
AFT part-time,
Holding it down.
No.
no, ASB,
They're here.
you already gave it, okay. CSCA,
Good evening, Dr. Walden and Board of Trustees. I'm happy to report the CSEA and the district concluded negotiations for our contract today. It will now be sent through the internal legal process and then on to the membership for ratification. Don't clap yet. Having said that, our now new 3-year contract will expire June 30th of 2024. The fact that our contract was expired for 2 of the 3 years is unacceptable and unfair to classified employees, not to mention the payroll department that now has to go back and calculate the past 2 years of retro pay. What is fair is beginning negotiations well before the expiration date and getting things finalized prior to the contract ending. I'm new to the negotiations team this year, so this was my first time going through this process. It was disappointing for me because at times there was no respect for us as union leaders on this campus. It didn't feel like the district was interested in doing what was right or fair for the classified employees. It felt like all they cared about was winning. This type of behavior is not good for the morale on this campus, and it definitely does not display a caring campus. Sorry. Negotiations don't need to be hostile. There shouldn't be a winner or a loser. It shouldn't feel like us versus them, which is what this campus feels like now. Which is what we have experienced through this whole process with this team. What it should be is two teams working together to ensure everyone is treated fairly, equitably, with the end goal being a contract that benefits the district and classified as a whole. I hope next year the process is handled much better. My final note is it's great to see all these new buildings, great exteriors, but if your foundation is cracked, what difference does it make how nice the building looks? You need to repair the relationships on campus as much as you repair the buildings. Thank you.
CTA,
Not here.
not here. Management, they're always here.
Yes, Richard.
Good evening, trustees, Dr. Walden, ASB representative. I'd like to present the management report this evening. I'd like to start by introducing you to Henry Hernandez, who's one of our CDL graduates this year. And Tim will pull up our presentation here. I've asked Henry to come in and talk to you tonight about his experience with our CDL program and what it's done for his life. So here's a couple of slides to show you. But if you want to get started while they're pulling it up, talk about a little bit about your background and how you got to our program.
My name's Henry Hernandez, and this real quick. But I heard about this program back in last year, like in July. It kind of changed my life because our family kind of had a rough ever since COVID happened. My dad used to run a transmission shop, and there was a fire. So that kind of put us in a dilemma saying, you know, how are we gonna pay rent, pay for food? And when I saw this, you know, CL program pop up, I jumped on the opportunity, and it's kind of a big roller coaster of a ride. But on the first slide is, you know, our earliest days of range. We do it in the rain. Next slide, please. That's the day I graduated back in March this year. You know, pretty good feeling. This was in Fontana. Next slide, please. This would be my first delivery in Dallas. That's my truck. I got it in Dallas. I had to take a rental, and that's some paperwork, bill of ladings. Next slide, please. That's in California, Arizona state border, and that is through a canyon run near Prescott. Ignore the bugs and the pizza. Yeah. Next slide, please.
They got good bugs and good pizza.
Yeah. This was a truck stop on the right, outside of Tonopah, Arizona. It's kind of funny. When I pulled in that night, I saw two Werner trucks, and I was like, I gotta pull in. So it's a trifecta right there. Kind of funny, and that's what we got to deal with. That's a narrow street in not Arizona, San Diego.
Yeah.
I did not pull in there, by the way. Next slide, by the way. Oh, please. Another day in the office. I haul Dollar Tree products, and this is kind of the stuff we have to, as truck drivers, deal with. Next slide, please. Oh, yeah. I got 19 seconds left, but I feel like someone mentioned, the housing market is gonna be it's gonna rise a lot, inflation, and I feel like this CDL program will help the community and make a bigger impact.
Congratulations. They actually call them travel centers now. They don't call them truck stops.
Thank
Oh,
They taught me
Appreciate
how
it,
to
though.
back that
Travel
thing up like
centers
that
instead
though.
of truck
Just
stops.
like,
That's tough.
yeah. Dollar Trees, their stores are a little older, so they're not meant for trucks sometimes, but that's my trainer's truck. So yeah, he helped me with that though. But yeah.
Great job.
impressive,
Thank you.
impressive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was the best management report ever.
You know, it's always nice seeing a VVC truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Trustee Tarpley. I see the trucks a lot because I'm in the area here. It's great seeing them go down the highway. Yeah, that's. Problem.
Okay, where are we here?
What's
next?
Facilities
update? No,
Number 9.
number
Nine.
9. Number 9. Consent agenda.
Yeah.
That's it, okay. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered by the board to be routine. And approved by the superintendent president. Board policy 2430. There will be no separate. Let me see, no separate. Discussion. There you go. Unless somebody wants to pull one, a trustee wants to pull one, we'll talk about it. Otherwise, we'll vote on them as a group. Board policy 2350.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
We've already pulled, staff
9.1.
pulled 9.15.
Okay,
Brady, second.
Brady, Tarpley, second. Student trustee,
Good job,
advisory
Dennis.
vote.
Yes.
See, I remembered.
Oh, you did. I'm so proud of
We
you.
pulled, what was it? Number?
9.15.
1.15.
9.15.
Oh, yes, it did.
Got it. Okay,
We're
all in
online,
favor?
folks. We're online.
Oh, we're online.
We're
Oh, okay.
online.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, how about that? We got a computer.
Way to go, Tim.
There it goes.
Okay, 10, action agenda. The complete written request. Do we have anybody wanting to talk about? Action agenda? Okay, public comments related, huh? Board of Trustees, action agenda 11.1, separate approval of all items pulled from a consent agenda, none. Board of Trustees self-evaluation results.
Motion.
Second,
Discussion?
That went very well.
Yeah, I did too.
it was all right.
It was great.
No, I said it was all right.
It was all right. Yeah. Okay,
Thank you, my dear, because there was no retreating.
okay.
Student advisory,
There you go. Popped up now.
What,
Yes.
Okay,
she said, yeah, yeah.
Just came in
you
late.
said, yeah?
Yeah, I said yeah.
Uh, 11.3, approval of governing board trustee goals 23-24.
Motion.
Second,
Discussion? Student advisory?
Yes.
So these next ones from
11.4 through
11.4
11.9.
to 11.9. If you want to do those like you usually do and take a break.
sure.
Yes, take a break.
Do a first and a second
Why do
and
you
vote.
Thank you.
Did you?
Oh,
change-
waiting on
make
you
a
on the
motion?
last one.
Yeah, make a motion.
I voted.
He did this though.
So,
Okay,
How
So
about a 5-minute break? Because we're pretty close
Yeah.
to being done.
technical.
yeah, so
For
we just
those that
need
are gonna
one
go
motion.
westbound on Bear Valley Road at 8:30, they're gonna close a lane or two.
So we need
They're
one
closing
motion
one.
in 1 second and she'll do it all while we
Yeah.
take the break.
Take a
So
motion.
You motion and I'll second.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, 6 minutes, maybe.
6 minutes.
The line for the rest.
Yeah.
let's get out of here.
Trustee Tarpley, you saw how he did that. He took control.
Yeah.
Trustee Wood was here.
Michelle,
Another
where
tip.
was that? Which item was it?
11-4, right? Start at 11-4.
Yeah, we need to do 11.4 by itself.
Motion.
Second. Oh,
So there was no changes made from. There was no changes made from last month's first reading that were of any substantive change. So we're just editing, smoothing out language and things like that. So we're requesting the board to approve the draft and trust us to be true to our to keeping it in the same substance.
Okay. We'll trust you for that, I think. Okay. All in favor?
We need a student advisory.
Yes.
Student advisory. All in favor?
It's online.
Okay, now it's
13.1.
13.1.
Yep.
Purchase agreement. Pin Group. Motion
Are you motioning?
or motioning?
Okay, I'll second.
Okay. Discussion? Advisory vote?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, 13.2, California Highway Patrol, Victorville Stations. Facility usage.
motion.
Second.
This is money back to the college.
Dr. Walden, is there anything you want to add to this?
Well, I think I think I might have missed,
Yeah.
but we had trouble collecting.
There's been a collection problem, isn't there?
Yeah, I think
You think you've come,
gotten better.
overcome
I'm so sorry.
Is a check in the mail?
it?
You tell them they can wire transfer, you know?
Okay, any further discussion? Student trustee,
Yes.
all in favor? Hit it, hit the button,
How come you get a bigger screen than I do?
It's just
because I'm the president and you're not.
Oh.
Wow.
Joe.
That was the quickest I've seen him in 13 years. He waited 13 years to say that.
I did.
And he admits it. That was good.
13.3.
You got that on video, right?
Adoption of resolution requesting the board supervisors, California, of San Bernardino County and LA County to establish tax rate bond for bonds to be sold fiscal year 2023, 2024. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
I'm afraid to say it. but
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Boy, I don't even get to vote.
Yeah, there you go. He doesn't get the vote.
Finally.
Yeah, look how small that is. Ah. Okay, approval of district's round 3 affordable student housing grant application.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Student trustee?
I hope Tom's listening. We're banking on you to win,
Yeah,
not to come in
He's
second.
not listening.
Yeah,
He hung up.
Well, I said, yeah.
okay, approval, any discussion? Any more discussion?
I'm just glad that trustee Tarpley was asking questions.
Yeah,
And not just you.
Well, because I know I'm not on Tom's grade list, but that doesn't matter.
You what?
I'm not on his high list with after that one night.
Well, too bad.
That's right.
as a
okay,
different guy. So,
trustee. Vote.
so you're talking about a different guy.
We didn't have his face. We don't know who he was talking to.
It was.
Show your face, man.
You're jabbering.
That was Angel.
It was
It was Angel.
Angel.
Oh,
Did I say it wrong? I said it wrong.
And
That's what I
Angel
did.
goes by Angel. Yeah.
And
Okay,
You have to push the button.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
I did.
Wow.
I will.
Big letters.
By the way, I think Redwood.
So they know how to do a non-urban area. Let's reword
Okay.
it a little.
Oh, they're doing Santa Rosa. It's,
I think what you had said earlier tonight,
Mackenzie, you need
the
to. call
reality of
Trustee.
why.
Okay,
That's how it's really done.
okay, let's see, approval of minutes,
14-1,
14. Where are we?
non-classified short-term employees.
Yeah, 14-1. I might fall so far behind here. Motion. 14-1.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Did
I
you
thought I
motion?
was here just a minute.
keep going.
Yeah, I know.
There you are.
I just passed it.
Right there.
Okay, non-classified short-term employees,
Motion.
Second.
discussion. Student advisory,
Yes.
14-2, academic equivalencies.
It didn't pop up.
Did it?
There it goes. Okay.
It's going real slow. I did it.
Because he's president.
Now I'm present.
And you're not.
So,
And you're
And
not.
you're not.
It's
That's the
Joe-
part of that.
yeah.
You're not.
Hopefully I can get a laptop like that in December, you know?
Yeah, well.
Down
We'll
there.
put it on the big screen
Huh?
for you. How about that?
Yeah, cool.
Anyway. Academic equivalency. 14.2,
Motion.
Brian Raymond.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor, student advisory?
Yes.
Okay,
Congratulations, Byron.
Ryan,
This is slow.
curriculum changes 15.1. Motion,
You know,
you got it? Okay. Discussion?
no, we need a motion.
I thought I had a motion.
No, you just
Did
said
you
the
make a
word
motion?
motion.
I said 14.
You said 15.
Motion.
Second.
There's it,
Thank
there it
you.
is, finally.
I don't
Came
know,
in
Joe-
second.
Joe or. something.
This guy here. Okay. Any discussion? Student trustee?
Yes.
We're almost there.
Yep.
We're almost there. There it is. Okay, 15.2, amended budget for Inland Empire Desert
Who are you waiting
Region,
for?
Regional.
Joe, can you
Employer.
push the button? Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good. Motion,
Motion.
15.2,
Second,
motion,
I'll second.
any discussion? Student advisory?
Yes.
That one went fast.
The next section is just information discussion, no vote.
Yeah.
Uh,
New policy read, board
So-
policy.
Yeah, I would like to point out this particular policy. So, this is not one that we've had. Did you have time to read it yet? It has to do with when we send out contracts or that are $500,000 or more, we send this out with that so that the contractor understands that the district would like them to make a good faith effort to work with our construction management program to like work in their trailers with them and the construction trailers and help our students that intern there, as well as to try to secure local hires in their subcontracting work. to employ the people in the high desert. So there's just guidelines all the way through there. There's nothing mandatory. It's just, they have to show us good faith and they have to show documentation that they did it. So if you would read it during this next month, and if you want to talk about it next month as a second read or make any adjustments, we can do that.
Well, I can say this on the record. There's a trustee that just walked in, our next one, that we fought pretty hard about this local workforce issue.
Yes, he did. Emeritus status. Diane Wallin. Motion?
No,
No,
this is
this
just discussion.
Discussion.
So Diane's retiring and she's been here a long time, so. And I see back there, Deanna, how long have you been with the district, Deanna? So Deanna is leaving us at the end of July.
Wow.
Where are you going?
Wherever she wants.
She's retiring.
Moving out of California? Not yet, close.
Close though.
Congrats.
And then the quarterly financial
Seems like you just
reports are
started
here.
yesterday.
Okay,
Quarterly financial report, third quarter is March 31st.
and motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
There you have it.
All
Yeah,
in favor?
you better believe it.
Wow, President Henderson got us here at 8 o'clock.
I got you out of here. 4 minutes,
till-
4 minutes till.